Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, October the 10th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. I've had a kind of a strange day and I slept way too late, a lot later than I normally sleep, so my whole day is off. And anyway, I'm not feeling that great, but I wanted to do just the methane update and a little bit of sea ice. We're not going to do the full sea ice report tonight, but just a little bit, and go over earthquakes and the La Palma updates from volcano discovery. And because I didn't want you to not go a week without over on YouTube. So this is my weekly update for my YouTube channel, and normally the reports on Sundays are more in detail, but I'll see how I do. May have to just keep it to methane, but we'll get started here. And here we are. This is the NOAA data for the 9th, which was yesterday, Saturday, for the 477/469 millibar reading. This is the MET-OP-1 satellite that was renamed the MET-OP-B. This is the morning reading. The mean or average was 1,935 parts per billion. The high reading was 2396. And we can see a lot of pinks around the Antarctic still. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1931. The high reading was 2575. Here's the MET-OP-2 satellite. And remember, when it came back online, this is how they're reporting it now in these little ribbons. So this is the new norm, I guess. So this is what I'm taking as their data. So in the morning here, the mean was 1929. So that's higher number than we've seen in a while. Look at this high reading, 3048. So it spiked somewhere, probably in the Arctic region. It looks like they've got the Arctic covered pretty good with this satellite. And then in the afternoon, the mean was 1914 and the high reading was 2959, so that was still high. So let's see what happened this week. Here's the spreadsheet I've been working off of. So those means average out to be 1927.5 parts per billion, and that's 2 parts per billion lower than where we were last week on my report. And so we can see the little line, blue line over here, went down a little bit, 2 parts per billion. And last week it had gone up 7.75, and so far that 1929.25 is our highest reading for this year, and our highest reading ever, since that was a peak. And normally methane peaks out sometime in October, so I don't know if that was the peak on the 2nd. We could be headed back up. Last year we had twin peaks, one in September and one in October. I think it was October the 14th. So we're almost up to that date, and then it started going down. So we'll have to see what happens. Now we're still with this data from Saturday, we're still 26.75 parts per billion higher than we were a year ago, and we're 70 parts per billion higher than the 1st of March of 2019 when I started tracking this. So you can see it's out of control. I don't know how this is going to affect the heating of the planet or other things. We're really in no man's land with this and other climate aspects, but there's definitely there's stuff going on. So I'll show you what happened this week, and I do reports during the week on my Subscribestar page, so we'd love to have you over there if you'd like to check that out, and the link is in the description box below. So here we were on my report last Sunday, where Saturday was 1929.25, and so let's see what happened. So that was Saturday. So Sunday it went down 1.75. Monday it went down 1.75. Tuesday it went down 2.75. So that's 3 days in a row where it went down. Wednesday it went up 2.0. Thursday it went down 0.25. Friday it went up 1.0. And then Saturday it went up 1.5. So it looks like it's doing some stair stepping this week, but we still ended up 2 parts per billion lower than where we were last week. Now we'll look at the CAMS data. I have Saturday pulled up. Arctic view and surface level ready. There's our color ledger at the bottom. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. Now we're seeing the Scandinavian area really coming back to life. It had calmed down for a while, but you can see it's really high readings. Also into Russia and this little peninsula, that's the Kola Peninsula. That's part of Russia. That's got some high readings. You can see as the wave moves out, we've got high readings coming up in the Barents Sea around the coastline, and it spreads out into the Kara Sea as well. And see in the forecast period, we've got higher readings moving out across Russia. We're seeing Komsomol, it's kind of billowing back to life. So for a couple of days it went quiet, but we can see not for long. It's coming back to life by the end of Sunday into Monday. And we have our theories about what that is, but it's not cows farting. Not up there. So we can see the Arctic is pretty much covered with the green color and light green, and waves moving across. So this is methane coming up either through the sea ice or just out of the ocean there. We've got some higher readings popping up on Iceland. Look at Canada. Look and see these background colors, they're higher. a lot of oranges and yellows as background colors. So that's another sign of very high methane. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. We can see the whole northern hemisphere from this view. Look at all of Europe's just filled up with that dark blob, and UK, Ireland, and then we've got this wave. See the wave coming out from France and from Spain coming up. We've also got this wave that's coming off of North America. And there's a big long line, let's see, of the dark. It's streaming across from Europe all the way across to Russia. See that? One long wave. Here's the Persian Gulf, and look at India. It's really filling up, and see the methane is spilling out over the coastline, especially in the forecast period. Look, here's this big spillover. Same thing is going on with China and Southern Asia. Watch this wave move out there. See, it's spilling out way over the coastline. So these are signs of very high methane, and usually towards the end of the methane season, this is where we see it really spilling over the coastlines like this from India and China. Okay, now we'll hop down to the Antarctic. I've been showing that all summer. Their winter, our summer. Up in the northern hemisphere. So here's this is the Western Peninsula, just to orient. This is the Ross Sea down here. This is south, the Ross Ice Shelf. And this is the eastern side. This little indention is where the Amory ice sheet is. And then here's north, and right up here where we're seeing the light blue popping up is around the Brunt ice sheet. This is the Weddell Sea. Here's the Weddell ice sheet. On this Western Peninsula, we're still seeing blue pop up right there. That's where the Larsen B ice shelf had collapsed. So it's coming up through the ice there. We're also seeing it streaming down off of South America. See it? Here it comes, a stream. And we're starting to see more dark blues come in, which is the next color down from the light blue. The light blue, which takes up most of the southern hemisphere right now, as a background color, is 1820 parts per billion. So this navy blue is 1800. So we'll see more of this dark blue creep in down here as once the methane really starts going down after it's peaked out. So there's that. Now we'll go to the global view. See, you're seeing more of the dark blues around the equator. We're still seeing that white spot pop up in China. That's near the Beijing region. Watch right there. See, that's in the forecast period. That means it's higher than 10,000 parts per billion. It's higher than this chart goes. So there's that. Now, let's move on. Oh, we'll finish up my pictures over here. This is sulfur dioxide from today from CAMS. We can see it's still billowing up from La Palma. It's come across the ocean, all across the Caribbean and over to the northern part of South America. We have a hot spot here in Colombia. Looks like that's probably a volcano. And it's spread out over Africa, the northern part of Africa. And so the highest readings right now are from the La Palma region, where it's spread out over Africa. And it's been blasting for 3 weeks now, non-stop. So it's added a lot of sulfur dioxide to the atmosphere. We can see even at 500 HPA. See, we've got it covering the whole northern hemisphere. This is ozone. This is for today. This is the Antarctic, and it's still a huge hole, and within this black line, all these colors that go down from the light, the purplish blue down to the black. This is all in the danger zone. And black is 100 to 125 Dobson units. Now, for a while, we were seeing a little white spot, which was registering below 100 Dobson units, but that's closed up. But the hole is not diminishing yet. It's still huge, and it's covering all of the continent of the Antarctic. And the sun is up, but it's going to take a while to warm things up and get this shrunk back down. Here's the Arctic view of the ozone, and it's quite thin over the Arctic. See, with the green and the blue-green, and then we've got aqua even down here over this high methane zone area too, over this northern Scandinavia and Kola Peninsula and northwest Russia area. and over the Barents Sea. So this is not looking too good. Here's the global view of the ozone. And we're seeing some red, so it's getting thicker in certain places, but it's quite thin. See, over the Pacific and coming over the North America, Greenland, and all this mid-latitude region with the green and the blue-green. That's all of those. Now let's head into the sea ice. This is from Climate Reanalyzer. I save these pictures every day off of their website. Here's for Sunday, today, the 10th. This is sea ice and snow cover. So I'll just zoom in and we can see. So the edges are coming out a little bit. It's a little bit of regrowth. It's quite thin. I mean, some of it is just a little wisp of ice, but we are seeing the regrowth there. And a little bit in these tributaries. It rained up here this week in northern Canada. Also, it rained at Noaa Data, and so I don't know if that's typical for this time of year or not. Now the sun is going down, and on NASA Worldview, the black hole is like about that, like that, and it's over northern Greenland and most of Ellesmere Island, and it's hit. I think it's hit Svalbard. It's hit Severny Zemlya. So let's see what's happened this week. Here we were last Sunday, the 3rd. So I'll click through and we can see what happened. So here's Monday, Tuesday. Wow, you're seeing a regrowth already. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're also seeing the white. This is snow cover, so this is sea ice and snow cover. And so it's already started snowing in these regions, because these are Arctic regions. So you're seeing the white on the landscape there. There's that. Now we'll go over the Navy model from the U.S. Navy. This is sea ice thickness in the Arctic for today. The chart over here on the right shows the level of thickness. The dark purple is about 1 meter thick. The dark blue is about 1.25 meters thick. The dark aqua is about 1.5 meters thick. The bright aqua is about 2 meters thick, and then yellow is about 3.75 meters thick, and then red, if we see any, is going to be about 4.5 meters thick. So we've zoomed in here. So I've named these quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4, just so we have a reference point. Here in quadrant 1, you can see the edge coming all the way up to Siberia, and along the coastline we're seeing little wispy things of ice, and this edge is creeping out. It's still quite thin, but we're getting a covering. Then here around Severnae Zemlya, see it's creeping out around there. And then here in quadrant 2, this eastern edge is growing back out. It's rounding a little bit, quite thin, and there's a lot of holes in between the pieces of ice, but it is creeping out. Then down here in quadrant 3, we have Greenland. We see it's coming, refreezing along this eastern edge, and we got little wispies coming back here in the Baffin Bay. Now this Nares Strait is still quite thin. See, it's light lavender, and the Lincoln Sea, it's not really changing that much. We're seeing aqua, so a little bit thicker ice now coming in around the northern coast of Greenland and up around Ellesmere Island. Then there's a little thinner area north of that, and then thicker. So I don't know why this is. You got this whole band of thinner ice there. And then in quadrant 4, this is where we have what had developed to be the thicker ice and over the winter, and that's what's left, and it doesn't look like there's a refreeze happening. I mean, it's not thickening, doesn't look like it's changing to me, except for it's stretching and sliding. It's already doing the sliding down towards the Beaufort Sea, just like what happened with what was left of the thicker ice last year. We watched it slide all down all the way into the Beaufort Sea during the winter, and these little aqua nubs are what's left of that. So that's kind of pathetic, but that's what happened. And so that's what we've got. That's what we've got to cool the planet, and so we should be grateful for that much, at least, I guess. Okay, so we've got a little bit of refreeze in these tributaries and in the archipelago. But I'm not really seeing very much bright aqua. A little bit here north of Greenland, a little bit here in this thicker ice, but it's mainly darker aqua. So most of this is not even 2 meters thick. And that's what we've got. Here's the 30-day animation. So the forecast goes out a week from now to the 17th, and the data goes back 3 weeks. So if we zoom in, we can watch this a little better. see, it's coming back pretty good alongside Greenland there. See, it's creeping out to Franz Josef Land. And watch here around Severnaya Zemlya. It's so thin, though. I mean, just that light lavender. But, I mean, you gotta start somewhere. See, it's starting to fill in here in this East Siberia Sea. The Laptev Sea is still pretty open. And see, this Kara Sea, that's open. Barents Sea, that's open. And, you know, like I said, I'm not seeing this thicker ice really doing anything dramatic. It's just kind of holding. Let's see the stretch. So we'll keep on reporting, watching and reporting. See what happens. Here's the Beaufort Sea Ice Thickness for today. So Alaska's down here at the bottom. Here's Canada on the right. Here are the little aqua nubs that's left over from last year's multi-year ice. And what we have over here is not multi-year. It popped up. So it's still quite thin, and it's not up to the coastline here yet. And we'll see where it's pulled away, where the aqua has pulled away from the coastline. So it's not really anchored in. Here's the 30-day animation. So it looks like it might be doing a little bit of thickening here in the Beaufort Sea. Let's see over here. See where it pulls away and slides. Here it goes. So there's that. Here's the Antarctic Sea Ice Thickness for today. Now, they've already hit their maximum extent and it's retreating. And see, it doesn't come out very far from the coast down here on this southeast edge or this eastern side at all. And see, there's open water here by the Ross ice sheet, and see holes appearing where the white is. Here's the 30-day animation. I'll zoom in. Looks like it's still thickening here in the Weddell Sea. See the aqua. And see, it's got aqua around most of the coastline. But there are areas where there's nothing right at the coastline, and I've been talking about that and showing that, and thinking that's kind of unusual. Here at Pine Island Glacier, see, it's quite thin. So there's that. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is what's up there today. This is for yesterday, no data. See? So I don't know what's going on with them. They do have their extent chart up. Sea ice extent. The blue line is this year. We're still running parallel with this gray line, which is average. And here's 2012, the dotted line. And see, that was the lowest extent year. But then when it started refreezing, it took off. And so looks like we're going to intersect this 2012 line and probably be below it, is my thought. Parallel or right below it. Here's the Antarctic, no data again. And here's their extent chart. And see, it peaked out back over here around the end of August, and then it's been doing a little stair step down, but it's definitely decreasing. And this gray-green line is last year, so we're way below last year. And that's all of those. Now, here's Climate Reanalyzer. We'll go through that. Here are the maximum temperatures for today. So look at these whites showing up in South America, and see Southern Africa, Australia. You're heading into their spring and summer, as we are in fall and winter, going into winter in the northern hemisphere. Here's 2 meter temperature anomaly, and if you look up here in the Arctic, we've got blue right in the center and brown and reddish brown all around there. Now this is air temperature, where it's warmer than normal. Look at Greenland, it's in the browns and reds, and look at this red all the way up through Canada. But the blue just west of that big blue area, and so the jet stream being broken is, it can't hold in the cold air. Worldwide, we're up 0.4 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.9 C. The Arctic is 2.1 C higher than normal. Tropics are up 0.3 C. Southern hemisphere is down 0.3 C. And Antarctic is down 0.3 C. So this, 2.1 C higher than normal, as we're heading into winter is not good. Here's precipitation and clouds. So the green is rain, and we can see it's raining on the coast of Norway all the way up across the Kola Peninsula and then up across Russia. This is where we're seeing the methane billowing up. So it could be the rain is helping the methane to thaw out and be released. It's also raining up here just east of Svalbard and coming up to almost to Greenland there. Here's the global view, or the flat view. Here's the jet non-stream. Look at this, how it's dipping down, and big hole there. In southern hemisphere, see, it's crazy too. Broken. And sea surface temperature anomaly. So here, this is the Laptev Sea. See how brown it is, especially along the edges of where the ice is. So that's why we're not having any refreeze there yet. And same with the Kara Sea and Barents Sea. We even have reddish brown along the coastline. This is where we're seeing the methane come up on CAMS. And look at it around Svalbard, Hudson Bay. Look at that. Here on the West Pacific, look, between Japan and the mainland there. Look at all of that red. So worldwide, we're up 0.5 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.7 C. North Atlantic is up 0.9 C. North Pacific is up 0.6 C, Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3 C, and the Equatorial Pacific is up 0.1 C. That's not good. So there's that. Now I'll show you earthquakes real quick. Here's what we've got today. Now, two big things for today. Well, the biggest thing for today is this 6.2 came in off the coast of Hawaii. This came in this afternoon at 2:48 p.m. Pacific time, 35 kilometers deep, and see the clustering around there. We've got 22 right here now. And these are 2s and 3s. Here's a 4.3. So these all started with the 6.2. So the last one, what was that? 9:09. It's almost 11 o'clock here now. So it's still going. And then here's Pahala, but 41 earthquakes total at Hawaii. But that's the big news there. I haven't heard damage. The fact that it was in the ocean helped a lot. It buffers the shaking. If that'd been on land, that would have caused a lot of damage. And we also have an Arctic earthquake here, 4.8 on the Reykjanes Ridge in the North Atlantic. Here's Greenland, here's Iceland. So again, plates are moving and things are happening all around the planet. Let's look at earthquakes for this week. 7 days, all magnitudes. We had a 6.9. Oh, they upgraded it. Thought it was a 6.8. Down in the Vanuatu region yesterday. This was 520 kilometers deep. So that's a huge earthquake and so deep. And that will cause major plate movement around the planet. We're still having quite a bit of movement here in the South Atlantic. And see, western edge of South America is still shaking. We also had 5.9 at the Macquarie Island region. This is just south of New Zealand. See, that's on this Antarctic plate line. And a 4.6 on the same plate line. And another 4.9 in Australia near Keith. So these are areas we can see earthquakes here, but we don't see them here very often. And see all along all of the red lines there. Japan had a 5.9 in Tokyo. It was on land. 5.9. They're saying near Chiba, Japan. But well, okay. So it was actually in this little bay. So that probably buffered it. 62 kilometers deep. But Tokyo is right over here, not too far from it. And see, Okhotsk Sea and Russia. See, we got one here in Russia, 4.8, Sukchan, and so on. And then we've had a lot of movement. Look at this Juan de Fuca plate. And in this Cascadia subduction zone region, look at this. Normally we don't see them in the ocean here, but we are now. So this is showing that these two plates, the North America plate and the Juan de Fuca plate, one's under the other, and they're moving ever so slightly. And so we're seeing evidence of that with all of these earthquakes. And see, it's following this Cascadia mountain range there. And Stanley, Idaho, they had 39 this week. we had a big cluster here. When was it? Yesterday or day before? So it's just a mess. I mean, it's just, look at this. Everywhere you look. And we had a lot of movement. See up here around Pyramid Lake, and look at Northern California, even a little bit more northern in Nevada. So that's what we've got. I'll go back to one day. And I'll finish up by bringing it back to a spiritual focus. I do believe we are in the end times, and that's the main reason that I keep doing these shows day in, day out, to show you all the earthquakes and methane and everything. These times were prophesied of in the Bible, and especially by Jesus. And I think it's important that we know these things so that we can be aware, and you can make an informed decision about, how you want to believe in these end days. So, we're reading out of Matthew tonight, Matthew chapter 7, and these are all words of Jesus. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. Ask again, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? And ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Therefore whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. Matthew chapter 7. So I'm praying for all of you. I hope you have a good week. I love you, and I'm just praying for everyone. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now, so that he can start guiding you and preparing you for what is to come, and protecting you. Till next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.